Hello, it's May 18th, 2005, and we're at the VFW Hall in Westbury, New York, interviewing John Pietrofere.
Right.
I'm Peter Caballero,
And I'm David Holtz.
and the cameraman is Daniel Macaron. So, Mr. Pietrofere, how are you? Good to
Pretty good, have you?
Okay. So, what war were you in, and what conflict?
World War II.
Okay.
Hawaii and Saipan and Iwo Jima.
And what division of the armed forces were you in?
I wasn't in division. I was in Ordnance Automotive. We took care of all the automotive equipment.
Okay. And what were your general duties or skills? As in
I was in a woodworking shop in the army, and we were making the. I can't explain it now, but we used to make the coverings, the canvas coverings for the vehicles, for the army trucks.
Mhm.
And that was our job. That was one of my jobs.
It says here that you were a T-5. Could you explain that, rank?
That's a technician. That's a
Technician?
technician. That's it. Right.
Did you have combat service? And if so, when were you first under fire?
No, I wasn't on the fire. I wasn't on the fire. I was on the skirmishes. That's all. It was in Iwo Jima.
What were your feelings in combat?
What was your feelings? I didn't have any feelings. This is praying. Let's put it that way. Pray. Nothing happened.
well, did you receive any injuries or wounds or whatever?
No, thank God. I had service connected with my eyes. So I operated on the service, both eyes.
Well, how many of these skirmishes do you think?
I was about 2 of them. That's all.
On where? Iwo Jima?
In Iwo Jima, yeah. Because the jobs were still there. They were in the caves. There.
What year did you arrive in the Pacific?
In the Pacific?
Yeah.
All right. In I got it right here. Let's see, when did I arrive? Let's see. I arrived in May 43, 23rd of May, 1943.
And when were you discharged?
November 16, 1945.
Okay. So you were for a small portion. Were you doing any occupation work?
Yeah, they sent me to cook and baker school. I ended up as a cook.
Did
I was there for 3 months, cook and baker school. And this was in Honolulu, Hawaii.
How was your equipment compared to the enemy's?
Ours was superior to theirs. They couldn't get up to the top of Mount Suribachi with the equipment they had. Our CBs, thank God, our CBs, one day they were up to the top of the mountains with their bulldozers and everything. But the Japs didn't have anything. Right, Lou?
Did you feel that they moved around on their own land, around the jungle or whatever?
No, we didn't have jungle.
Islands or
ours was all ash.
Ash?
All ash, volcanic ash. We never seen any vegetation on Iwo Jima, but there were a lot of caves, and they were in the caves, boy, the Japs.
Oh, so is it fair to say that the equipment superiority of the American forces was one of the big factors?
Yes, we had the equipment.
What was the better? What was the specialty as far as equipment goes? Was it? The tanks or the aircraft or what?
We didn't have too many tanks on Iwo. We didn't have too many tanks. I couldn't even answer that one. They didn't have any tanks.
Well, did you receive any decorations or medals?
The Asiatic Pacific Medal and the Western Pacific Service Medal and the Good Conduct Medal, like all the good boys that came home, thank God, and the World War II Victory Medal.
What was the most interesting or inspiring thing you experienced during your service?
Good question. Well, we were well taken care of when I was in Hawaii actually for 2 years, and that was good. That was good duty in Hawaii. But then like I say, we ended up in Saipan, then from Saipan to Iwo Jima, and the reason that they fought in Iwo, we had to take the island because our B-29s ran from Saipan to Japan, 3,000 miles. But when we took Iwo Jima, we established our base there. It was only 600 miles, and that's when we started bombing. We bombed it we dropped the what was that guy? He says drop it. That was what was it? I can't think of his name. It was the president. Who the heck was it? Anyway, a lot of people didn't like him for it, but that was the best thing that ever happened to the chaps. I can't think of his name right now.
President Truman?
That wasn't Roosevelt.
President Truman?
Truman, that's it. Truman says drop the bomb. And the Rickenbacker and the Eno Gray, they did it.
Well, what year were you born?
I was born 1921.
So when you arrived there in '43, you were 22 years old.
Yeah.
Were you what was the average age in your unit? Like, was it?
Oh, I ended up with an outfit from the Boston Army base, and they were all regular Army. My outfit, the guy, it was all regular Army. These guys are automotive mechanics. You name it, anything that had to do with transportation. My outfit did it. I was the Army. I was a 3606 Ordnance automotive outfit. Yeah, 3606 Ordnance, heavy auto maintenance company, automotive company rather.
What person or persons do you remember best from your service and why?
What was that last question?
What persons or person do you remember best from your service and why?
Oh, our master sergeant. He was a character. You never know what he's going to do next. He was always full of life. Yeah.
Did you find the officers? Were the officers condescending, or were they friendly, or what?
No, we're all friendly officers, except in Iwo Jima. What I did, one of our lieutenants, he had a girlfriend down there, and I like I said, I was a cook then, and I happened to go outside, and didn't realize it. I shut the refrigerator door, and guess what? The lieutenant and his girlfriend were in the refrigerator. We had some fun sometimes, and sometimes we were serious. Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about when you were in Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii was good duty. They used to pick us up on twice a week. We used to go down to a place called Malahia. That was like a service club, and we used to have. I got a lot of pictures of it too. This was in Waikiki, and then a couple of buddies of mine were in the submarine service, and they used to when they came back from duty, they'd end up in the Royal Hawaiian Hotel, and it used to cost them 25 cents a night for the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. That's something.
Okay.
They had to pay for the sheets, 25 cents.
Oh. Well, you have any funny stories?
Pardon?
Do you have any funny stories about Hawaii?
We went to a couple of luau's over there, and that wasn't funny, but it was interesting. We used to go there early in the morning, and what we used to do, we had all the rocks, and we made a fire, and we made the rocks hot. And then what we did after that, we took the pigs, and we took the pigs, put them in burlap and wire mesh, and we put them on the rocks. And about 10 hours later, you got roasted pig.
Did you ever, did your unit ever take any prisoners of the enemy?
No, I never taken any prisoners, but I was in charge of prisoners, and guess what?
What?
In Hawaii, Italian prisoners. I took care of Italian prisoners.
All the way in Hawaii?
Yeah, honest to God.
How many of them were there?
Oh, there was about 10 of them, but I only took care of it. Well, yeah, see, they used to be our mess hub.
Yeah.
The guys. That's all they did. And I was surprised the first time I had guard duty, and it was the Italians.
Yeah.
And then I started talking Italian, you know, and I got along good with them. You know?
Were they happy to be in captivity?
Oh yeah, they were happy. They were happy because, and a lot of them says, I'm used to that, you know. So I used to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I was in Iwo, I was on guard duty, and we all had to take our turn on guard duty, and we had a word, a secret, a code word, and if you knew the code word, you were okay, because a lot of times you're walking in the dark, and the code word said, who goes there? And if you gave the code word, okay. So this one night, we're asleep, and all of a sudden we hear the guy couldn't answer the code word. He was gone.
Oh, they killed him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, the Japs used to. That's the only time they used to come out at night, and we'd get up in the morning, and we'd see stuff missing. And we couldn't blame it on the GIs and food and stuff, because they left them there.
Wow.
The commanders, no, they left their troops behind.
What experience left the greatest impressions on you?
The greatest experience?
What experience left the greatest impression on you?
when they dropped the bomb in Hiroshima.
Where were you at the time?
I was on Iwo Jima.
Mm. And how did you hear about the bomb on the radio?
No, yeah, right on the radio. You know, and guy through our communications, we were up to date on everything.
Did you ever get shot at?
Like I say, with skirmishes, but I didn't know if it was meant for me or not. But that's where I was.
And those skirmishes mostly took place in Iwo Jima?
Yeah.
That's where you received most of the action?
Yeah, right. Well, I wouldn't call it, only about two or three times we were, you know.
Did you perform any unusual services or duties?
No, that I was in the service. I'll tell you what happened with me. I was in maybe in Iwo maybe 6 weeks. Next thing I know, I had trouble with my eyes. I ended up in the base hospital, and that was the first night we had our attack from the Japs, you know, the air raids. And I'm in a hospital cot, screaming with my eyes. I couldn't see nothing, and I'm screaming, "Come back! Come! Somebody get me! Somebody get me!" Next thing you know, I didn't know until the next day that when the lieutenant pulled me out of the tent and brought me to the foxhole, you know, in the holds, and that was it. That's the scariest I ever got.
Do you have any friends now from Iwo Jima?
Not anymore.
Well, did you keep track?
I kept track of a couple of them, but they're all gone. There's the ones that I did know from New York.
What about the pineapples?
Oh yeah,
something good about that.
When we landed in Hawaii, we were all lined up, and this lieutenant's come by, and he's looking, eyeing us all up, you know, see who's good and who's bad. So he says, "Fellas, behind you is a pineapple field," he says, "and pineapples do not grow on the ground." And he says, "If anybody gets caught digging a pineapple, is going to get a $200 fine." And we laughed when he said that. And like you had the money that he used to get, if anybody, he put it in some kind of fund. They used to have a party once in a while with the new recruits that didn't know anything, you know.
A lot of people try to
It
steal
was,
pineapples.
actually, it was mostly the rebels that were digging up the pineapples. Because they didn't know any difference.
What was the exact date of your discharge?
The exact date, let me see if it's still over here. November 16, 1945.
And what were your feelings on VJ Day?
Good.
Very good.
Feeling good. In fact, I went into service in I started out in Camp Upton. I went all the way out, and that two and a half years, I never got home. I went right overseas, and then when I cut back, we went on they had a point system, and you had so many points you get discharged. But I got robbed out of my pension money, and the big deal. They gave me $40 after not being home in 3 years.
Well, let me ask you this: what kind of job did you get into when you came home?
Oh, I'll tell you the truth. I worked on a golf course. I was cutting greens on a golf course with a machine, a hand machine. Today it's all gas. And that was it.
Well, do you find yourself? I know no one likes to be in a war, no matter what the situation is. But would you have preferred to be on the European theater, or do you think you're actually?
I'll give you an example why I went to the Pacific. When I went into the service, I was a young kid, had a broken nose, and the first thing they got me there, we were there about maybe 3 months. I was in Fort Cook, Nebraska, and let's see, yeah, I was in Fort Cook, Nebraska, and I went to the hospital for an operation. There was an operation, and my outfit left without me. My outfit ended up in Europe, and I ended up in the Pacific.
So, well, would you have preferred to be in Europe?
I'll tell you, I'm glad I went where I did go. I was happy where I went. I was in Hawaii for 2 years, and the rest of the time I spent in Iwo.
Were you enlisted, or did you get drafted?
No, drafted.
You were. Were you afraid of getting drafted, or were you just
No, I wasn't afraid. I was 23 years old. I didn't care.
Well, did your friends get drafted too, or did you have friends that were enlisting?
Well, there was well, a lot of my friends got it. In my outfit, I mean, in my family, it was me, my brother who got wounded in Italy. I was in the Pacific. My brother was in Italy. My other brother was in Burma, India, in the Burma camp. And my other brother, he was in Okinawa. So the four of us went around the world.
Wow.
The four weeks. And now, you can go look at the monument in Grand Cove. You'll see the four Pietrofere names up there. My mother was really proud.
I'm sure she was. Did your brothers all make it home?
Oh yeah, thank God. My oldest brother, he came home.
That's good.
He was wounded. He was wounded in Sicily, going across.
Right.
He was in the engineers, and with the engineers, and the donkeys carried all the ammunition. And he says, the old saying was, don't worry about the man because we can always get another man, but we can't get another donkey. That was the saying that he used to say. And I don't know, so some of these timers will tell you that too. You can't get another. You can always get another recruit, but you can't get another donkey.
That's
true.
And where was your place of birth?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. And your father's education?
My father's a high school graduate, but my father was born in this country. My mother was born in Italy.
So, as an Italian American, did you think it was awkward to be going to war with Italy?
I don't know. That was a good question. But you couldn't blame them people. You had to blame Mussolini. You had to blame Mussolini for that.
Okay, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, nothing right now. I'm just trying to think. Really nothing. Just that, like you said, I mean, I was in Hawaii. But it's changed now. I got pictures of the I don't know if you know, you ever see the statue of King Kamehameha?
Yeah.
Well, I got pictures of that at home. I took it over, that's almost 60 years old. I got that.
I've got one more question. Your unit was, what was your?
3606 Ordnance, heavy automotive maintenance.
Okay.
We used to call us ham company. We were actually attached to the 27th Division because they were right next door to us. But we only supplied them with vehicles, and that's all we did. We didn't do no fight for them, and that was it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm gonna have a Coke.